The last type of connector that is provided by Databricks is SaaS connector, which is mainly for enterprise applications, and full form of SaaS is software as a service. SaaS connectors also provide file connectors, essentially to connect to enterprise file storage like Google Drive, Microsoft SharePoint, etc. So this is a SaaS file connector provided by Databricks. And there are a lot of other SaaS connectors to ingest data from enterprise SaaS applications, or the applications which are completely managed by the organization itself. And these are the different types of connectors that Databricks provide. So you can look at these connectors and actually you can figure out whether data can be ingested into Databricks or not. For example, Dynamics 365, Confluence, Salesforce, ServiceNow, SharePoint, etc. There are SaaS connectors which can be used to connect to these sources and ingest data into Databricks data platform directly so that the data can be analyzed for business purposes. There are other SaaS connectors also. This is definitely not the exhaustive list, but these are the most important ones that I wanted to put across. So this is where I end this chapter, and let's summarize what we have talked about so far. The summary would be a little difficult because we have talked about many things and sometimes it may look like that we are out of place. But let's try to understand. So we'll be talking about Databricks platform. So all the things that we have talked about obviously pertain to Databricks. And we have also seen different sources like files in ADLS storage account or ADLS containers. We have also seen files in Databricks volumes and relational database like PostgreSQL. So these are the different sources that we talked about at the beginning of this chapter. ADLS storage account and Databricks volumes provide static sources, and these are used to store files and datasets. And relational databases are dynamic sources which are used to generate data for the business. We have only looked at relational databases, but of course there can be non-relational databases also. We can use third-party connector to ingest data from these non-relational or NoSQL databases like DynamoDB, Cosmos DB, Cassandra, MongoDB, etc. Then we talked about connectors, and there are different types of connectors available in Databricks. The first one that we talked about was ADLS connector, using which we can connect two static sources or files and datasets which are stored either in ADLS storage account or files in Databricks volumes. We had also seen cloud service connector, which are meant to connect to multiple cloud sources which are supported by Databricks. Obviously, there are Azure cloud sources and there are non-Azure cloud sources also. If you are hosting Databricks on AWS, you can connect to S3, you can connect to Redshift, you can connect to Aurora, etc. Now in Azure, we looked at PostgreSQL sources. So we can use these connectors to connect to these data sources. Connectors store information like the endpoint and the authentication or the credential. And there are two types of credentials that we talked about. One is the storage credential and the other one is the service credential. Storage credential is used to store the Databricks Access connector on Azure, which has access to ADLS storage account. And service connector can be used to store credentials like database credentials that we had seen. I had used PostgreSQL. So using the connectors, we store the endpoint, we store the authentication information in the connectors. For ADLS, we need external location also. That is another thing that we need. We have also looked at query federation or lakehouse query federation, using which we can connect directly to the data source and query the data from there. So instead of moving the data or copying the data from relational database or from sources to Databricks platform, we can get the data directly from the sources. Now in this case, the query would be pushed down to the source database, and then the result set would be ingested into Databricks as a table. Now when you use query federation, the query is written in Databricks SQL syntax, but when the queries are sent or when the queries are pushed down to the database sources, then Databricks convert them into the source database's SQL dialect. If you do not want to do that, we can use remote underscore function also, in which case we'll have to write the query in the source database's syntax. Then I talked about Lakeflow Connect, which is nothing but a wrapper on top of the connector, and the purpose is to get data either using connectors or using query federation. So Lakeflow Connect is essentially used in Lakeflow, which is a pipeline, data orchestration pipeline, and Lakeflow Connect is just a part of it. Underneath, it uses the ADLS connector, cloud service connector, query federation, etc. And there are two types of Lakeflow connectors, the standard connector and managed connector. In standard connector, we get autoloader and we get copy into, which are used to ingest or load data from these static sources to Delta Lake tables or Delta tables. So autoloader and copy into both are used to ingest and load data from file sources or from storage sources. And we need to use the notebook, Databricks notebook, and we have to write PySpark code or using the Spark's structured streaming API, which is read stream and write stream, to execute autoloader. And copy into is an SQL flavor. We use the notebook to write SQL command to copy data from the sources and store into the Delta table, which is essentially the bronze layer. This is not processed data in any which ways. We are just getting the data from all these different sources and using these tools to store it in Delta table. Because we do not have any data lake in Databricks, we are storing in Delta table, which is the bronze layer, and this is where the Medallion architecture begins. Now, to perform all these tasks, we need compute also. So I talked about classic compute, serverless, SQL warehouse, and I had introduced you to the Photon execution engine. This is an execution engine for Spark. So whenever we execute Spark code, the Photon execution engine can be leveraged automatically to better the performance of the execution. So this is what we had talked about. Essentially multiple tools or multiple ways to connect to different sources. In fact, we talked about only two sources. One is relational database source and the other one is file source. There are other platforms which use these components, like Lakeflow Connect uses the Databricks connectors and query federation, etc. And there are various tools available as part of Lakeflow Connect itself. Now, Lakeflow Connect is a logical construct. These are the physical implementation of that, like the connectors, the query federation, autoloader, copy into, etc. We also looked into two managed connectors like query-based connector and database CDC connector. Alright, so now let's summarize the hands-on also, because that might also feel a little offbeat considering the various things that we have. The first thing that we did was creation of the compute. We created serverless compute, classic compute, and instance pool. These are the three things that I had shown you. You should always use serverless because that has the highest capabilities available or highest features. Then I had shown you hands-on, wherein I prepared the PostgreSQL source. I created multiple tables, and of course we'll use the source in future also, but how to prepare the source so that we can practice hands-on and we can practice the exercise also. And we can use the PostgreSQL source for various projects as well. The third hands-on that I talked about or that I had shown was how to create the connector, Databricks connector for Postgres. After the source preparation was done, I had created the connection, and then I had shown you Lakehouse Query Federation also, which created a catalog named DBX Postgres OLTP foreign catalog using Query Federation while creating the connection itself. Then I had shown you autoloader notebook, the cloud files config, copy into, etc. Finally, I had shown you the database CDC connector, which is a managed connector provided by Lakeflow. I did not find any place to put it, so that's why I have put it here. Now, this is how all the hands-on are related to the topics that I have covered in this chapter. So that's all about it. Thank you so much for tuning in. A request again. So I think as humans, we should be very much compassionate towards animals. Mother Nature, which is the most powerful force in the planet, she expects us to coexist with all the other animals. Please stop harming them. Do not harm the Stray dogs do not harm any animals. Stop buying products that involves killing of an animal. You know what those things are, like leather belts, leather shoes, leather car seats, etc. I don't think we need to kill animal for the sake of fashion. Heartiest request to you, let us coexist, or else Mother Nature will take revenge. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next chapter.